Hello, my beautiful rock stars. It's your girl Rocqi, your revolutionary hippie from Life is Rocqi. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and help me get monetized. All right, so today I will be going over another one of my reflection and check-in sister circles, but not the whole thing, just the reflection and the life work exercises. As I've said before, this is something I've done within my business, Manifest Reality's Happiness Coaching, in collaboration with Sisters Mentally Mobilized of California Black Women's Health Project. I worked with them with my reflection and check-in sister circles last year. I did an 8-week sister circle of various topics, and the premise was we reflect on some questions. We have some skills training, which will be available in the courses I provide. So make sure you click the link in the description box below, manifestrealitieshc.com, so you know when those courses go live. Because I won't be covering the skills training today. And this one is definitely going to be, you want to take this skills training. This get a lot of skills in this. But also the life work, as well as a check-in to actually see how we're doing. So that's what I will be going over today. Today's topic is balance and boundaries. Now definitely check out my previous episodes, Ain't I Woman, as well as Superwoman Syndrome, because those definitely all tie in together as far as how to find balance with using boundaries, okay? So, anything else I need to share? Stay tuned for the courses, going over reflection questions and life work. Oh, and you definitely want to sign up on my email list to know when I'll be doing future reflection and check-in sister circles, because Rocqi is pregnant. So my next one will probably be on Black maternal health. So make sure you sign up to that email list so you know when the free sister circles will be available. But it is on West Coast time, so I understand not everybody can. So that's why I make it available through courses as well. So stay tuned. All right. So without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? So I want you get pen and paper, get your phone. Make sure you pause this video and actually reflect on the questions, okay? Because you need to know yourself, all right? It's crucial for growth, all right? So, that being said, the sun is coming out. It's been raining today. But I'm going to answer these questions just so you have some sense of how they can be answered, I guess. However, feel free to check in with your friends, go over this video with them, share it, see what other people's answers are. Feel free to let me know your responses in the comments below, just all the things. But make sure you pause it after I list the questions before I go into my responses. All right, so again, today's topic is balance and boundaries. So, how do you use your boundaries to remain in balance? Okay, so oh wait, I'm not answering yet. So yeah, how do you use your boundaries to remain in balance? Do you know how to say no? What are various ways to say no? When do you choose yourself first? How do you know when your energy is drained? What can you do to replenish your energy? What are your work boundaries? Have you scheduled your me time? What is your social interaction capacity? What is your time management skills? What are your stress management skills? What support do you need and how can you ask for it? Have you identified for yourself what your boundaries are? What is your personal pep talk? And how do you recenter yourself? So pause the video, go back, listen to the questions, reflect on them one by one, take your time, really understand yourself in relation to you being in balance and using your boundaries, okay? Now I'm going to respond to these. So mind you, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I have my own business, Manifest Realities Happiness Coaching. I done thought about some of these things, okay? Which is why I'm coming to you with this information. So don't be shocked if I've just thought about some of these things and I have processes and practice for it, okay? Now, also, I'm not perfect, always learning, always growing. So understand that as well. All right, so how do you use your boundaries to remain in balance? So let me just preface with, I was the black sheep in my family. I was the one who was different. I was the one who thought differently, did things differently. Like I'm in California, all my family is in Maryland. You know, like it's just, I've done things different. So my boundaries were crucial for me living the life that I wanted for myself. To be in balance within myself, I had to implement boundaries. And some of it meant distance. So I think my life is a pretty good example of how I've used my boundaries to remain in balance. Just because like I'm queer, polyamorous, like a revolutionary hippie with locks. Like I'm just, yeah, I've had to set boundaries to be who I am, you know? So yeah. Check out my Rocqi's Reflections, queer-ish, my polyamorous journey, just all the things on my channel to learn more about that story. All right, do you know how to say no? What are various ways to say no? So yes, I know how to say no to a fault because I'm kind of pessimistic. So yeah, I'm definitely have no problem saying no. But no is a complete sentence, no period, okay? Now you can say no thank you, no I'm not interested, no I don't have capacity for that. There are various ways to say no. And I think I go over that in the skills training as well. But I don't have a problem saying no. I don't have a problem implementing my boundaries. So yeah. Especially if it's not direct confrontation. I have more issues when it's direct, but if I'm sending you a text, if we're talking over the phone, I don't have a problem setting those boundaries. All right. When do you choose yourself first? All the time. Again, I wouldn't be able to live my life if I didn't. I think as I'm transitioning into motherhood, that is going to be a challenge to remind myself to choose myself first so I have the capacity to give to my children. Especially like different ways of choosing myself. So a problem that I've been having is working out consistently. So like washing the dishes I do in the morning, but I could also go to the gym in the morning, you know, and it's like, well, washing the dishes will be helpful for me later in the day. So I'd rather just do that, you know, whereas working out is just not as much of a priority. So I do have problems with choosing different parts of myself first. So yeah, that's something to think about for me. How do you know when your energy is drained? Usually I just feel off. And it's usually like I wake up and it's an off day type of thing. So what I do, sometimes I don't know why. So I will try to assess, see what's going on. But sometimes I'll just allow myself to have an off day. So I'll take a break. I'll rest. I'll move slowly. Anything that doesn't need to be done today, I'll move to a different day. Just to kind of allow myself to be in that drained state, especially if I don't know why, so I can take time to figure it out. So what can you do to replenish your energy? I love the sun. I love nature. I like painting. I love sitting in stillness and quiet in the house by myself. It's so beautiful. And then taking afternoon naps. So great. So those are some of my ways. What are yours? Let's see. What are your work boundaries? So now, mind you, I've transitioned to being a homemaker, so I don't have a need for as much work boundaries. But when I was practicing therapy, in practicum, I had a thing where as soon as I got my house keys, or I guess my work keys were in there. So when I locked up, basically, I was leaving work at work and going home, right? And then I think when I was in Oakland, I had a little bit more flexibility to, especially at my second office, like I could go home in between clients if I had a large break, 2-3 hour break type of thing. So that being said, I think not responding to clients on the weekends, not checking my email when I'm home, or setting a specific time to check emails. And then I'm not a crisis intervention person. So if you are having a crisis, you know who to call because we've talked about it type of thing. So I was pretty good with setting those boundaries for sure. But yeah, I know a lot of people, especially with the now work from home movement, have trouble setting those boundaries. And I will say also your space, like during the pandemic, I was working in my room. So then I'm working in my room, I'm being in my room. It was a lot to have all of that energy in one space. So I would definitely say distinguish if you can afford it, have a different space to work in versus the one you hang out when, rest in, that kind of thing. That can definitely be a boundary mentally and physically to help you leave work at work and be home at home, even if you work from home. Have you scheduled your me time? This is an important question because a lot of times we don't. We schedule work, we schedule events for the kids, we schedule everything else, and then we say, we'll have me time, but because we've scheduled everything else, we forget. Like we'll say, oh, my me time will fit in there. No, it won't. Just like you're scheduling everything else, you need to schedule your me time or you won't have time for it, okay? Now, because the baby's not here, I do have plenty of me time, so I don't necessarily need to schedule it. Like today, I had an agenda for the day. Let's see. I woke up, washed the dishes, made breakfast. I sent a Zoom link for my baby shower to my in-laws. I put it together a bookshelf. I'm recording this content now. Gonna take a shower in a bit, and then I have a meeting later. So none of that sounded like me time, but for me, it was just getting things done that I needed to get done. And I'm like, my self-care is interesting as far as what replenishes me. But because I enjoy making content, and I enjoy building things, which was surprising. I enjoy having a clean house. I enjoy eating good food, so it's like, yeah, there were things I needed to do, but a lot of them I just happen to enjoy, which is a good thing. All right. What is your social interaction capacity? And this is something that I realized being polyamorous, that I have more romantic capacity than I do platonic or familial capacity. Because if you think about it, with a life partner, like you spend every day with that person, and I can't spend every day with everybody, Love my family, can't do it, Love my friends, can't do it. So I realized in the romantic comparison, like, oh, I have it romantically. I want to spend every day, every other day, 3-4 times a week, twice a week even, with romantic partners. But platonic, I'm cool once a month. Family, I'm gonna give you a call, but I live across country, and I saw them 3 times this year or last year, and I was like, yeah, twice is good. Twice is good. So yeah, my capacity is severely limited. Definitely check in with yours, especially the different types of social interaction. Because sometimes social interaction is replenishing. Sometimes you need to get out, you need to be social. especially like with me with community, especially the pandemic took me away from my community. So just being out with the people and just in that communal environment feels really good, feels really replenishing. So just assess those different levels of your social interaction capacity, because sometimes it's replenishing, sometimes it's draining, so you got to check in with that. What are your time management skills? And again, this is something I do a skills training on my course. But this is funny because I'm a procrastinator. Like, I'm a huge procrastinator, have been since like elementary school. I have a master's degree, like nothing changed. I am still a procrastinator hardcore. To the point, like in undergrad, I had a 15-page paper too, and I didn't write it till the morning of. Yes, I had to skip a couple classes to get it done, but I didn't write it till the morning of, and tell me why I got an A on that bitch. Like, it was things like that didn't, was like, okay, you need to do better. Nope, it was like, keep doing what you're doing. So yeah, that's me. But something I tell my therapy clients was I plan for my procrastination. So like, if I know I'm not going to do my homework until Sunday night, I'm going to plan for me to do absolutely nothing else Sunday night, like I'm planning for my procrastination. Now, as far as now, because I'm not in school, I'm very organized calendar wise. Like, I have my own calendar with a to-do list. I have the calendar that's on the fridge that's for both my husband and I, so he knows what he has to attend. And then I'm about to put up another board, and that's more like specific days where he knows what I have going on. So I'm a planner and I'm an organizer, and that helps with my time management as far as like the events and the things that I have to do. Now, as far as doing them, because things aren't as on a deadline as they were in school, I have more flexibility. So like, for example, I'll look at my priorities. What needs to get that done that day? What can be a little lax and done the next day? That kind of thing. But yeah, I do very well. And again, I'm a content creator. Like I'm not, I only have 2 coaching clients right now. Like I'm about to have a baby. Like I'm kind of chilling on the deadline type things. But I would definitely make sure that you understand where your skills are as far as managing your time. What are your stress management skills? So this is definitely something I had to learn in polyamory. Because that emotional growth was needed, that emotional regulation, and I didn't have it. I didn't have emotional management skills, and I have anxiety. So I definitely had to learn how to manage my stress, how to manage my anxiety. So a lot of it is deep breathing for me, recognizing the energy in my body as it moves, slowing down my mind. So I did use CBD oil prior to pregnancy. And then I am in therapy right now. Definitely suggest that. And then something that we worked on in therapy a couple months ago was how my spiritual beliefs would manage like my anxiety triggers type of thing. So my spiritual beliefs are a lot within Eastern philosophy. So I was looking to Avatar the Last Airbender for some wisdom, because there's not really specific books for my spirituality to go and turn to look for what to do with my spiritual faith. Like, I don't have just one faith, so it's kind of tricky. But that show means a lot to me and is very centered in Eastern philosophy. So one of the things, like with the airbenders, is moving circular. So when you're met with resistance, you move around it type of thing. So that's helpful. With the water benders, you take the resistance that's given to you and you kind of put it back into. So whatever somebody gives you, you flow it back. You use their energy in that sense. So sorry, I'm getting text messages. So yeah, so those have been helpful in just mentality wise, how to manage my anxiety. Other than that, I have this little song, everything will be okay, everything will work out, when stuff's going to shit. But deep breathing is really my best tried and true. So, but yeah, that's just something I can think of off the top of my head. What support do you need and how can you ask for it? So this has been a huge thing that's been coming up in therapy for me lately, especially because I'm about to be a new mother for the first time. So, one, apparently I have a family history of asking for help not being a good thing. So that's definitely been something I've been working on. And it's interesting because like, even like my mom's coming out to help with the baby when I deliver, and like I was thinking about like, you know, her cleaning, her helping with the baby, and then I was like, well, what do I need like emotionally or even physically? And so sometimes even thinking about the support that I need, because I am used to doing so much on my own, is a feat in and of itself, because it's like I don't think about it. So really slowing down to think about what you actually need, who can help you, you know. And this goes back to the Superwoman syndrome, having to do it all yourself, or just feeling like other people aren't capable of helping you, so you rather do it by yourself. But we do need help, we do need support. So really taking time to figure out what you actually need, what somebody else's strengths are to support you. Now, my husband, definitely don't question his support. He's been super helpful throughout my pregnancy, so definitely not questioning that at all. Now, asking for it, I realized I have a tougher time asking for money specifically. I have a tougher time asking his parents, my in-laws, for help than I do like my mom. So I am recognizing some of that, as well as my friends. Again, sometimes I don't think to ask for help. So it's yeah. There's my husband now. You can see his reflection. But yeah. Basically, even though you may think you're a burden, asking is not demanding help, okay? And then when you ask, you're checking in with someone's capacity. And like my therapist reminded me, if they say no, then respect their boundary, right? But there's no, even like, though I was berated and shamed for asking for help, there is actually nothing wrong with asking for help. It's saying, I'm stuck and I could use a little support. And if you are turning to your support system, they should be understanding of that. If they're not, we need to assess that support system, okay? All right, have you identified for yourself what your boundaries are? Yes, because I've done this with clients repeatedly. And again, stay tuned for the life work. Well, I'll kind of draw that out a little bit. I'm not going to explain all my boundaries, but a lot of it is mental. Like, I think I was a junior in high school when I stopped caring what people thought. Happened again when I was in college, and then again when I embraced myself as queer. So that's the biggest boundary of like, stop caring what people think. It's a mental boundary. But yeah, I'll explain more about that. And then, what is your personal pep talk? I think the everything will work out, everything will be okay song is really helpful for me. My husband has a saying, dreams manifest. I am thankful for the process. So that's really helpful. And I think coming into my 30s and really check out that journey, Becoming a Feminine Woman series was definitely documenting that journey. But I like who I am. Like, I really do. After assessing who the fuck I am and what I did with my 20s to discover and nourish who I am. So even that part is a pep talk for me of genuinely liking the person that I am, you know? And how do I recenter myself? Again, nature is a big one for me. Having the house to myself is a big one for me. Just, yeah, taking time alone is a big one for recentering myself. And therapy, for sure, I would say. I definitely benefit from that support. Yeah. But all right, let me know your thoughts in the comments below about my responses. Again, check in with yourself about your responses and feel free to let me know those as well. So now let's get to the life work. And again, what's not available on this video is the skills training, which is really juicy. You want to make sure you get from the course. So make sure you click that link in the description box below, manifestrealitieshc.com. Now let's get to the life work. It is called life work because when I was seeing my teen in therapy, I gave her homework and she was like, this ain't homework. This is homework for your life. This is life work. And I was like, ooh, I like that because homework you get a grade on. Life work is like to benefit your life. So it's up to you whether you do it or not. But I would say, yeah, do it. So again, pen and paper, stop the video and practice this life work, okay? All right, so identify your internal boundaries. Your mental, your emotional, your physical, your sexual, your spiritual, your environmental, your financial, your material, your time, your digital, etc. So internal boundaries are boundaries within yourself, meaning no one else is involved. It's just you. So an example of a digital boundary would be how much time you spend on your phone. Okay. Again, it's just you. Ain't nobody else involved. It is literally just you. But you got to think about how much time are you spending on screens where you are, actually feeling good about it? And why do you need more? Check in with yourself. An example of a material boundary within yourself could be shopping, like what's your budget look like? Well, that could also be financial, but do you need those things? Stuff like that. Sexual boundaries within yourself. So, and the next one is identify your external boundaries. So boundaries with other people, we can't force them to respect our boundaries. Okay. It's just like, I'm setting this boundary with you. What you do with it is up to you. But if you choose to disrespect my boundary, I have to respect my own. So an example of that within the polyamorous context is I have a testing boundary where I require my partner to receive the test results of the other people he's dating before any sexual activity. Now, if he chooses to do his own thing, my consequence for my boundary is he and I stop having sex. So like that would be an example of my internal sexual boundary of me respecting my own boundary, but also setting a boundary with him. Does that make sense? So yeah, same of the sub boundaries, but internal boundaries within yourself, external boundaries, what you're setting with other people, and then how you're enforcing them. What are the consequences of those boundaries if they choose not to respect your own? Identify how you will communicate your boundaries. Consider I statements. Example, I need me time. I will not be spoken to in that way. So this came up with my dad. Narcissistic, showed up in my adulthood and I was trying to set boundaries with him. And basically I was like, you need to change. But that whole you doesn't really get received well. So instead of you need to change, I will not be spoken into that way. If you continue to talk to me in that way, I will hang up the phone. I will not respond. That's how you communicate it. You, again, focus on what is within your control, and that's you, your power, your agency, your autonomy. What can you do to protect you? Okay? And remember, your boundaries are a line in the sand. So when somebody crosses that line, it's, oh, I'm getting into the skills training. Y'all ain't ready for it. All right, anyways. Identify how you will respect your own boundaries. Again, what are the consequences if someone chooses to disrespect your boundaries? What are the consequences if you don't respect your own boundaries? I mean, think about it. Cause I know, like, I feel a ways when I violate my own boundaries. Like that, I feel it. You feel it, when it's like, I ain't feel good. I shouldn't have done that, lesson learned. Identify how you would enforce your boundaries. I was just talking about this. What are the short-term, long-term consequences of disrespecting your boundaries? What can you do about someone disrespecting your boundaries? A lot of times it's distance, unfortunately. Like, because if someone's choosing not to respect your boundaries, you can't force them to. So like, what can you do? Well, I can limit my interaction with you in whatever form that is. But I haven't figured out like specific other ways that you can enforce boundaries with someone else without being able to force them to respect your boundaries. So outside of distance. But let me know if you come up with any. So this is for your time management. Divide your day or week into important and urgent, important but not urgent, not important but urgent, and not important and not urgent. Okay? So I'm gonna repeat that back. Divide your day or week into important and urgent, important but not urgent, not important but urgent, and not important and not urgent. Okay? So that's what I use to manage my week and my days as far as my priorities and stuff. So, and then you gotta also distinguish the difference between importance and urgency. Again, check out the skills training in the course, link in the description box below, but let me know your thoughts on this video. Was it helpful? Check out my others in my playlist, Manifest Realities Happiness Coaching. Again, stay tuned for more videos, and those sister circles hope to be coming to you soon after my maternity leave. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. Was this helpful? Did you get some good questions to think about? Did you reflect on some things that you didn't think about before? Let me know. And make sure you share. We need to have these conversations. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Light and love.